Michigan Republican Congressman Dave Camp is here, and New Jersey Democrat Bill Pascrell, both members of the powerful House and Ways and Means Committee. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. Representative Camp, not a single Republican went with Democrats in the House. Well, Bill, what don't you like about this?
Well, Bill, I think really the story there is that there was bipartisan opposition to this legislation, partly because the version we had created 6.2 million jobs, twice the jobs at half the cost. And you reported on jobless claims earlier in the show, and that's why we really need a jobs bill, one that really will help do that. Their bill didn't do that, and really wasn't a stimulus bill. It was a spending bill.
All right, Representative Pascrell, Nancy Pelosi was on another news program earlier today. She essentially acknowledged that a lot of these set-asides for Democratic measures will come down the road, things like education and Medicare. And you get back to the issue here about whether or not this is a Democratic wish list in the end. Is that what it shapes up to be?
No, I don't think it's a wish list at all. This is a recovery plan, not a stimulus plan. The question is, our economy needs recovery. So I think this is a very well-balanced plan of tax cuts for American people, 96% of them, tax cuts for businesses, restructuring their debt. They're going to save a lot of money. They're going to be able to put people to work.
Can I pose a few things
it is
to
also, if I may say just one more point,
sure.
This is also a plan to spend money where it needs to be spent, and it has to be spent at a certain amount of speed.
I understand your debate there.
And there is transparency.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to emphasize your point and get you to defend it. On the screen, $25 million for new ATV trails, $400 million for the National Endowment of the Arts, $400 million for global warming research, $335 million for fighting sexually transmitted diseases, $650 million for the digital television conversion. Does that create jobs, Mr. Pascrell?
Many of those areas that you just mentioned do create jobs. I mean, we're losing jobs at a rapid pace. We need a plan that is encompassing and not just quick, short term, but will be lasting beyond the 2 years that this plan is supposed to be implemented. I think it's a very well-balanced plan. Are there things in it that I would rather have in it? I would have rather had larger expenditures in infrastructure and transit. In fact, we did increase the transit money from $9 billion to $12 billion.
Well, you don't have a problem with anything I just ticked off then. Is that what I hear from you?
I don't have any problems because I know that that is money that's going to be well spent in areas that needed to be done. It's like you telling me what does stimulus have to do, what does recovery have to do with people who are going to have lose their job and they have no health care? Well, we have a COBRA plan in here where people will be paid. We're going to try to provide 65% of those people who don't have any health insurance have been laid off. You may say, well, what job is being created there? This is necessary. American people are hurting right now. This is a balanced plan. And for the other side, my good friend Dave from Michigan, to be telling us that their plan is going to create more jobs, I can't see it. I don't see the numbers.
All right, let's get back to Representative Camp on that. Go ahead and defend that, sir.
Well, Bill, let me just say they've also got $1 billion in this bill to follow up on the 2010 census. We haven't had the 2010 census yet, so really the spending in this bill is, I think, very much in question. Look, we did an economic analysis. We used the president's nominee to head the Council on Economic Advisors, the top economist in the country. We used her methodology. We used her multiplier effects. We came up with twice the jobs, 6.2 million jobs created under our proposal at half the cost. Now, let me just say, this bill was on the tracks. This was written by Speaker Pelosi, came to all the committees in the House. None of our amendments were accepted. So, yes, we'd like to be a part of the solution here. I do believe our country's in need. Obviously, the jobless claims and the hurt that many families are feeling, but we haven't been given a chance to do that. So we'd like to take up President Obama's call that we find an American solution, not a Republican solution, not a Democrat solution.
You also quoted from economists who've been supporting your point of view, those of them who've been supporting your point of view for 8 years, and that's the reason why we are where we are. You had 3 tax cuts that you didn't pay for, 2001, 2003, 2005. You didn't pay for them. Now you're trying to convince us that now all of a sudden these economists are going to prove your point of view. I think this is a well-balanced plan. And by the way, do you think that the American people are going to support what you put on the table after the mess you've left us in 8 years. Do you really believe that? I don't. That doesn't make us perfectly
I've got about
right.
10 seconds left. Representative Camp, defend that.
Let me just say, even the Congressional Budget Office, nonpartisan, says that tax relief actually moves resources into the economy more quickly, will create jobs more quickly. So, look, these economists are the president's own nominees to head the Council on Economic Advisors. We're using the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office to come up with our proposals. They move more money, faster, create twice as many jobs for half the cost.
I think what a lot of Americans remember back in September and October is that the sky's falling. You better do something now, otherwise you're going to pay a big price. And it's going to hit you on top of the head. And here was Congress pushing this through. And now the American people are saying, what are you doing? And that goes to both of you gentlemen. They're still wondering, what are you doing?
Well,
we're going to work through that answer throughout the course of our show. Sir, thank you. I got to run, guys.
Thanks so much.
I got to run.
Bipartisan is very interesting.
Representative Pascrell, thank you. Representative Camp, I hate to talk over you, but this is very annoying.